Hey, what's up guys, it's MugenLord here, and today we're going to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, by the time you guys reach this video, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been out for what? The past 4 days now, and everybody got their hands on it, playing it, and dissecting it, giving their theories. But more importantly, what I want to talk about here is Tifa herself. Yes, Tifa has been a hot topic of discussion as we have gotten closer to the release date of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because of some things that was revealed from Square Enix themselves, more specifically the bathing suit that I've also covered here on this channel, which raised the question that I've talked about here as far as the ESG. Has Square Enix decided to step away from the ESG slowly but surely, or are they trying to gain favor back with the community once again? Well, we have definitely gotten that answered for the simple fact is that just after I made the video and had it scheduled 4 days in advance, they had pretty much put out an update that many people didn't catch until much later. And that update was for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the title before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And it was an 8 GB patch. And this patch did some little adjustments to Tifa herself. Now, we already know that Tifa is queen. Everybody loves Tifa within the Final Fantasy VII community. So when something is done to Tifa, it's going to get people talking. Even throughout the internet, journalists, everybody's talking about it. So before we even dive into that discussion, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So what did this patch specifically do to Tifa herself? Well, apparently they did some censorship where they went back into an old flashback scene in Remake where Tifa was wearing her cowgirl outfit, and they decided to put a black top over top of it to hide her cleavage. Now, a lot of people don't find this, some people don't find this as a big deal, but to many others, this set precedents to many things to come in the future when it comes to this whole censorship, especially when a game such as Final Fantasy Remake has been released 4 years ago, and he went back and retroactively censored a game that's 4 years old. So, we're going to dive into the article, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinion, because there's two folds to this right now when it comes to this update. When it comes to censorship, and it comes to localization, which we'll get into in a bit. And it says, Final Fantasy VII Remake update covers Tifa up, and some players are unhappy. So it says, Square Enix quietly released an update for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, quietly, because, as I said before, no one had any idea that they were going to update this game with a patch until people say, you know what, let me just play Final Fantasy VII Remake to get myself prepared for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then people were shocked that a patch was out for this game. So, with patch notes claiming fixed several bugs. However, it didn't take long for players to realize that a small glimpse of an underage Tifa, and we're going to talk about this too, because this was not a topic for debate a long time ago, and we'll get into that in a second. An underage Tifa in the Nibelheim flashback scene has been updated, leading to some of them voicing their concerns over lost cleavage. That's what we're going to talk about first, because this the second part where we're going to talk about in a second is going to also have people scratching their heads. It says Final Fantasy VII Remake update also makes a confusing script change. It says the flashback scene in question originally shows Tifa with a little bit of cleavage. Following the update, Square Enix added a black undershirt to cover her up. This brings Final Fantasy VII Tifa in line with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth appearance. The minor differences can be seen below. And then you have Alex Donaldson pretty much made a tweet saying that they patched Final Fantasy VII Remake to slightly change the detail of Tifa's character model in Nibelheim flashback to match Rebirth, and some are reacting as you expect, before, after reaction. So, here we go. Despite the fact that it's meant to be like 15-year-old in this scene, some folks are unhappy with the censorship. Steam community forums are littered with complaints, with some folks suggesting that they'll use mods to undo the change. Other than the above, Square Enix changed Aerith's final voice line, which for some bizarre reason, which we'll definitely get into, which I won't talk about it in this article. We're going to go into another article talking about the localization. But first, let's just tackle this one at a time. We're going to talk about the Tifa outfit, which a lot of people are upset. And we have two different sides of the spectrum that's making an argument about this situation. Now, like I said, you have gamers who are actually fans of Final Fantasy VII who love the game to be as pure as possible. Like I said before, I grew up with the original Final Fantasy VII. I was there since day one. So I have sentimental attachments to it just as much as everybody else does. So people are upset is because this sets a precedence at the fact is that this game is pretty much 4 years old, and then Square Enix went back and censored something that was not an issue a while ago. So you have other people on this other side of the spectrum saying, well, she's underage. Now, this is where the problem comes in, because when you look in the article itself, Yahoo even mentioned underage Tifa. But where was this issue back when Final Fantasy VII Remake was first revealed and people played the game? There was no mentions, there was even no controversies about her outfit and her being underage at all. You see where the hypocrisy is coming from? Because not only that, when you look at this, when you look at the flashback scene only happens for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. It flashes and it goes away. And most people never notice it. And now that people are calling Square Enix out about this sudden change, and now all of a sudden people out of nowhere is talking about Tifa being underage. But this was never a discussion when it first came out. More importantly, people were reminiscing, having nostalgia of that outfit more than anything. But never anybody pointed out of the whole situation of Tifa and her outfit being inappropriate. And this is the thing that really, really frustrates me about this certain crowd of people. Now, we'll get even deeper into the whole thing about her outfit, because this is the thing that cracks me up. Because if you guys didn't check out my video that I done a while ago, a few months ago, when we talk about the male gaze, and you're gonna see, you'll get what I'm saying in a second. And we talked about how just because a woman is shaped a certain way doesn't make the woman sexual. It doesn't make her sexual. Just because a woman have a bust and a bigger bust than the average woman doesn't automatically make it porn, and it doesn't automatically make her sexualized. Now, what I'm saying is, when it comes to cleavage, which we'll talk about the outfit right now when it comes to Tifa. Now, from Scratch Point, he said, anyone defending the retroactive censorship of Tifa's cowgirl outfit, pulling the fictional age cards, is disingenuous. They bought and played a game with a supposedly immoral design, but somehow that was okay 4 years ago. It's fake virtue to be dismissive. Where was everybody at? Where were the journalists at when this was revealed a long time ago? Her outfit in the remake from 4 years ago. Where was the articles for this? There was no articles for it, because it wasn't a big deal. No one found a problem with this. But now that people are calling it out and people are pointing at it, now they're trying to tell you that, hey, she's underage. You know, I don't have no problem with this. Like, you can't make this up. Now, we're going to look at the picture of this outfit. Tell me what's sexual or objectifying or inappropriate for a cowgirl outfit such as what Tifa is wearing in this screenshot right now. And remind you, she's 15 years old. Where's the problem in this? Tell me what's so problematic about this outfit. Now, this also brings in the discussion that I had before when I talked about the elimination of the male gaze and about female body proportions and a female body in general. And the thing that gets me upset is that people associate women with a bust or a woman with a nice cleavage as sexual. And I keep telling people this time and time again, that just because a woman has a big bust doesn't deem her automatically sexualized. Women come in all shapes and sizes. Yes, females have cleavage. There's no way to get around it. 15, 20, 30, 60 females have cleavage. And cleavage by itself is not sexual unless the individual themselves sexualizes it. That's where the problem comes in. Because when you look at the outfit itself, which we'll show the other parts of the outfit, the different comparisons that they have for Tifa's cowgirl outfit, tell me anywhere. And now this was the original sketch that they had for Final Fantasy VII's Tifa's cowgirl outfit. Tell me anywhere in this outfit that is deemed sexual. Tell me anything that is sexual about this outfit. Females have cleavage. Doesn't matter what age they are, females have cleavage. And cleavage by itself is not sexual. There's nothing sexual about cleavage. The only way it's deemed sexual is if you, the individual, look upon that woman in a sexual context. That's the only way it can be sexual. But this is a tamed outfit. Teenage girls wear stuff like this. I have a teenage daughter. She's going to turn 15 next month. She even deemed this outfit cute. But any person or any individual who sees this as problematic, then you're the one who has the problem. Because there's nothing sexual about this outfit. Women, teenage girls, and even women will wear something like this with no problem. And the fact is that Square Enix went out the way to give us an 8 gigabyte patch to just cover that up makes no goddamn sense. Then why make the outfit to begin with if it was problematic to begin with? It doesn't. Next, we're going to talk about localization. And we talked about here on this channel how a lot of people don't like the direction of localization from Japanese to English, and how some of the characters' personalities and how some of the translations just fucked up, and then of course how some of these modern day localizers are pretty much social activists, so they implement their own politics and agendas when localizing these games. Well, also this patch did some localization changes as well. Now this thing is this the funny part about this localization is that it kind of had me conflicted here, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So what we have here, it says from the gamer, Final Fantasy VII Remake's new patch has altered the ending for some reason. The final line of Final Fantasy VII Remake has been changed almost 4 years after release, and no one knows why. And no one knows why, right? So it says Final Fantasy VII Remake is almost 4 years old, but that doesn't mean Square Enix has finished tweaking and poking at it to make sure everything is correct. Earlier today, a significant patch was released designed to bring Final Fantasy VII Remake up to date with certain changes made in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, with the intentions of making both titles a fluid experience. For example, we already talked about Tifa's character being censored, so we'll skip that. Has a line that has changed in the ending. So it says, first spotted by Authentic M on Resetera. Before the patch was released, Aerith would look up at the sky and say, "I miss it, the steel sky," in reference to the top plate of Midgard. Now that's what I want to talk about. Now after the update, Aerith now says, "This sky, I don't like it," which pretty much means the exact same as the previous line, but it's much more literal. It's considered a bit of a downgrade to the original, and fans are currently trying to figure out why it was changed at all. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about, because this line right here, the line that has been changed now, where she says, "The sky, I hate it." This is the Japanese version. They wanted to make it as close to the Japanese version as possible, which is something that people want in their games. But to be honest with you, and then you may disagree with me, but to be honest with you, I don't like this version. I really don't. And I had a discussion about it on my Twitter page. If you want to go check that out and get involved in the discussion, you can. And I like the original. I like the version that they had before, where she talked about the steel sky. I miss it. To me, it's a bit more poetic to me, and for the fact is that to me it has deeper meaning to it. For the simple fact is that when she mentions the steel sky, and as I said on my Twitter page, is that when you think about the steel sky, she's referring to the upper plate. Because if you live on when you live on a lower plate, every day when you wake up and go outside, you don't see the sky. All you see is steel. All you see is the upper plate that's above you. You don't see this. You don't see the sky at all. That's all you see. So can you imagine that people who grew up their entire life and that's all they know? And also, at the end of the game, once Aerith and the party leaves Midgard, she sees the sky, and which is something that also represents the unknown, since they defeated fate, which we talked about before, and then they walking into the unknown. So now that she sees the sky, there's a lot more uncertainty to it, and it's unfamiliar to her because her whole life, even as a child, all she knew was the steel sky. So that's why, despite the pain that she went through and everything, she still had grown up there, built friendships, built relationships, and now she's stepping into the unknown that she's not familiar with, and now she sees the sky, and it makes her uncomfortable. She's going to miss it. but she knows she has to move forward. And I really like that. And now they switch it to what the Japanese version is. The sky, I hate it. Even though it's literal, it means the same thing, but it doesn't have that same punch to me at all. Now, some people may disagree with me, but this is where we are right now when it comes to censorship and localization. And I'm going to definitely do a video when it comes to localization, because despite some issues or issues that people have with localizations, there are still some instances out there where localization to me is the better version than the actual Japanese version at times, depending on what the context is and depending on what the game is, which I'll discuss in another video. But that pretty much it for this whole entire situation. I mean, it really has people just up in a tizzy right now. And what also makes it worse is that Nexus Mod themselves had removed the mod that allows you to remove the black undershirt that's in the cutscene of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I keep saying again, why you guys are still making shit for Nexus Mod and uploading on the site and then surprised that they remove it. Stop supporting that site. Just stop it. At this point, stop. It doesn't make sense to continue to make content for Nexus Mod. But it just baffles me at the fact is that this is where we at, especially when it comes to the female anatomy, to the point to where a female, it doesn't matter. A female can't have cleavage. And as I said before, cleavage by itself is not sexual. There's nothing sexual about cleavage. Nothing sexual about cleavage. Unless you as the individual make it sexual, or you look upon that female in a sexual way. Because females in general, teenagers to adult women, are going to have cleavage. That's part of who they are as a gender. They're going to have it. But it's how you look at and how you perceive that female when it comes to their cleavage or any part of their body. So, in my personal opinion, before I wrap this up, Tifa's cowgirl outfit, it was never an issue. And the fact is that now her being underage coming into question is disingenuous, and is nothing more than virtue signaling. So, that wraps this up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this sets up more censorship from developers who can go back to older games and just censor it because it doesn't meet today's standards when it was made back then? And why is a game that was made back then held to a standard of today, which doesn't make any sense? It doesn't make sense at all. It was a product of its time. And even for it to be a product of its time, there was nothing wrong with it. The developers seen nothing wrong with it. Gamers themselves didn't see nothing wrong with it until we pointed it out. Then now it was an issue. So definitely want to hear your thoughts. If you like the video, hit this like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.